Good afternoon. Glad to be back in here after a victory. Been able to do that the last couple of weeks, and it sure is. It's more fun to talk to you guys after we win. So the game on Saturday was just as we hoped it would go. Our guys did a great job on offense of controlling the ball and moving it. We had the one time we had to punt. We had a foolish penalty. There's a big pile of guys, and our players were pulling their players off the top of the pile, and we can't do that. That's something I haven't done a very good job of explaining to them. But that kind of stalled that drive. But other than that, we were getting in the end zone, and just really proud of the younger guys and the more inexperienced guys, I should say. They got a chance to get in there and play. And then defensively, just hold them off the scoreboard for the entire first half, really, with the guys that are the travel squad players, the guys that are dressed out and playing most of the time, and the exception of the one drive where they scored the touchdown. And I was disappointed they did that. We held them out of the end zone. The one field goal, obviously, we had the error on the kickoff return and turned the ball over, which was unfortunate. But I thought defense played really well, and we did a good job in the kicking game. Kicked the ball well and covered kicks, and so overall a good day as we expected. And so we're looking forward to being back here at home again. This is senior day for our guys, and just not the fact that it's the last game. There's still a lot of football left to play for us. We've got 4 more games left, which is pretty exciting. But the last game in Mikey Stadium, and we've had such great success here over the last 4 years with the senior class. It's important to us that we play really well and send these guys out with a victory. So hopefully we'll do a good job of preparing this week and have ourselves ready to go.
We'll start with Rich DeMarco.
Hey, Jeff, congratulations again on the win Saturday. You mentioned players, young players, seeing someone also like Marcus Pierre finding the end zone. Can you describe the love and the care from your team when they see folks maybe that haven't seen a ton of snaps get out there and excelling in a game like that?
I just noticed a vibe on the sideline when those guys even go in. When Markins got out there and got his first carry of the game, everybody was excited. When Maurice Blanc got out there and was carrying the ball, the guys were excited. It's fun for those guys that are friends with them and have worked with them and seen them develop, and just watch their effort and the investment that they've made in the program to be rewarded with an opportunity to play, and then for a guy like Marcus Pierre to get a touchdown. He's been here. This is his 5th year, so he went to prep school and he's a senior, and gets to score a touchdown in a college football game is really exciting. So there's a lot of guys out there. We had 18 guys carry the football on Saturday, so that's a lot of people. So a lot of guys were seeing some of their first action.
Hey, Jeff, for Senior Day, what does Senior Day mean to you, and what does this group mean to you?
Well, Senior Day is just an honor, or a day to honor those members of our senior class, and we got a lot of great guys in this class that deserve to have the recognition. And some of those guys play a whole lot, and they get interviewed, and they're up for individual awards, and they're starters, and our guys get to see them play all the time. But there's a lot of guys in that class that have just invested in this program and maybe don't get the recognition that's deserving of their effort and their work. But Senior Day is a day that we all get a chance to really step back and recognize them, and they get recognized before the game, their parents and loved ones and people that they have asked to come and be with them on that day is really special. So it's just a day for them, and we're glad to be able to honor this senior class. That there's several players, managers, and mentors that are going to be out there on Saturday.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Charles Grievous.
Good afternoon, Coach. On the flip side of the senior class conversation, one of the integral parts of the program that continues to grow is recruiting. We just did an article in the current sophomore class that has quality talent like Robinson, Austin, Law, Connor, Spencer Jones, et cetera. And some of those aforementioned players actually played as freshmen. They got reps as freshmen. So obviously you can play younger guys. Are there one or two attributes that you look for in the younger guys whereby they can get on the field sooner than later?
I think one, they've got to be tough and physical. They got to be able to handle that part of the game, because playing football at this level is a lot different than playing in high school. Even the very best high schools in the country, playing FBS football is a lot different. So that's certainly one attribute, and the other is just the ability to learn and to perform on the field. They've got to be talented enough, and they've got to be savvy enough to learn their assignments in the scheme. And if they have those things, then if they give us the best chance to win at that time, or the best chance to be successful on that particular play, then it doesn't matter if they're a freshman or senior or somewhere in between. We're going to try to get them into the football game.
Great. And can you talk a little bit about the play of Malcolm Morrison? He's continued to just really show his talents on the field. He's the size of a safety, but he plays physically like an outside linebacker, which in essence is what he plays. Can you talk about his progression?
We just had a conversation about him this morning. We had a lengthy recruiting meeting, and we were talking about the guys to replace Malcolm, guys that are currently in our program, but then the guys that are in the senior class right now that we're recruiting, and who is going to be a fit to be able to be developed and grow into that position. But he does do so much for us, Charles. So he came in as a corner, and I remember his freshman year. It seemed like he got an interception every day. Just very savvy player, a great knack for the football, and so that next year he really just kind of burst onto the scene and playing special teams, playing some on defense, and he's grown into being a really, really good football player for us. And obviously, the production that we're getting out of him in this defense, we want to find more guys like him that are built like him, that have the same skill set, and that's a challenge. He's a good player, and I think likely it's going to come from the safety and the corner positions, both on our team now and as we go into the future. So, there's some other guys that have played there. Jimmy Charlo, I think, is a really good football player, and he's playing that same position. And I'm excited about how he's developed, and he'll likely be the guy there next year.
Thanks, Coach.
Ken Kreitzer.
Good afternoon, Coach. One player impressed me and everyone on Saturday was Cade Ballard. Came in the second half and led two drives, 97 yards, and he ran 40 yards himself in 7 carries, threw the ball. How good was it to see him out there and playing effectively on Saturday?
I was so glad to see Cade out there. As you well know, he started a couple games for us last year, and we won both of those football games. He's tough. He's competitive. He's a winner. Very talented. And he's in a position group with a lot of guys that we think are really good football players, and so I think Cade just handled that situation and handled his opportunity just as we expected. I thought he would play really well, and the conversation every week as we talk about the quarterbacks and having them prepared, Cade is always in the conversation, and he. Just even recently, the last 6 weeks or so, he has really stepped up in terms of his effort to be fully engaged and be ready to go, and really he's got a starter's mentality, and he's grasped the offense like a starter. And so when he went in there, I don't know that it had been any different with any of the other quarterbacks. He did a terrific job. I'm really excited about him, and as we continue this season and certainly going into next year.
Hey, I just read an article this morning in the Times from Billy Witz about the sophisticated prep schools out in California. They focus on John Bosco and Maitre D in Santa Ana, which you've had a number of players come from. And what is it like when you're able to get a player from, a sophisticated high school prep school program?
Well, those are all great programs that you mentioned, and there's a lot of good programs around the country. So not just those, but the top programs around the nation. You find guys that football's really important to them. They've had a lot of success, so they've won games. And they come to our programs with an expectation to win, and often if they're starters at those particular schools, they're pretty talented because they're playing with a lot of really good players that end up going on scholarship to other places. And so, the good players are a priority, but finding them out of good programs is certainly a huge emphasis for us.
His final thought about UMass are having a rough season. They have the one win over UConn. They went through a coaching change a couple of weeks ago. What are your thoughts about what you see in the UMass program?
My thoughts are just to get our guys prepared to play as well as we can on Saturday, and to play better fundamentally than we did on Saturday, to play our assignments. We had some assignment issues on Saturday that got to get cleaned up. I know I talked about that last week. And then fundamentals. There were errors. There were things in the kicking game that were very obvious, but certainly defensively and as well as offensively, that we're not perfect. We're not playing the very best we can play, and I won't be satisfied until we're doing that. So continue to do that, and hopefully we'll perform well on Saturday and get our seniors a victory.
Thanks, Coach.
Ken McMillan.
Hi, Jeff. You mentioned the senior day. Do you know approximately how many seniors we're talking about this weekend?
How many we got, Clayton? 27 players, and then we've got 4 mentors, and we've got about 7 or 8 managers. So,
okay. Could you speak to the seniors who don't see the time? Like you said, Mark and Pierre as one. How many seniors are on this team that haven't really cracked the starting lineup, but you find very valuable to your team? And what's it like for them to stay with it through these 4 years without getting, quote, the glory?
I can tell you that every one of them are just as important as the guy that has started every game since he's been here. They're all important. They all matter. And I certainly love them all the same, and they're beloved by their teammates equally. And so to stick it out and to continue to invest, that says a lot about them as individuals, but it also speaks to this brotherhood and how much they care for the other guys on this team, but also how much the other guys care for them.
And a follow to Charles earlier, he mentioned about the current sophomores who are contributing heavily. How is this year's freshman class producing in your eyes?
There's some really good freshmen in this class. And what we have are some older guys and experienced guys that are playing. And so it makes it a lot more difficult to break the lineup as a freshman unless you're just way more talented than the other guys and physically developed enough that you can step in there and make a contribution. Probably the guy that's making the biggest contribution as a freshman off the top of my head is Max. Sorry, DiDomenico. Holy smokes, I'm looking at number 37 in my head, and I can't remember what name he's got on his front plate. Max DiDomenico. He's a true freshman, direct freshman, so played high school football in Schertz, Texas last year, and now he's making a significant contribution both on defense and on special teams. So there were some other guys that over the course of the season have really impressed us on the scout team, and we've put them on kickoff and the punt block and punt coverage teams just because they're guys that we've seen on the scout team, and we just felt like deserved an opportunity. So, guys like Brett Jarena, Bryson Daly, Tommy Sotelo, all those guys have kind of jumped into those roles for us and played some on Saturday.
As Kenny mentioned, Massachusetts had a change of coaching. We saw it earlier this year with UConn, and then Washington just fired its coach yesterday. I know you coaches don't have a union, but how concerning what's your thoughts about the fact that we're seeing so many coaching changes in the middle of a season?
My thought is to do a good job so I can keep mine.
I think you're doing okay on that front. But I mean, is college football just changing in a way that maybe isn't very positive?
Oh, I think everything about college football is positive. Everything about what we stand for and what we teach our young people, it's tremendously positive. What it means to this nation, it's a sport that's unique to this country. No other country the other countries play this sport, but they don't play it like we do. And so I think it's a great sport. It's part of America and who we are. Just a tough country, tough people, loyal. I think that it just speaks to the personality of this nation. So, I'm always concerned about our game and how it's perceived, and that's why I think it's important that we be professional and always continue to try to improve college football.
And then lastly, are you expecting a similar type of personnel game this week?
Oh, I'm expecting us to get ready and to practice well and to put our best foot forward and try to play the best game we've played all year. I don't think we've played as good as we can possibly play yet this year. So we're striving to do that, and we'll try to do that this coming weekend.
Do you drive the point home, though, to the guys who struggled a bit in the second half, like you mentioned with special teams and such, that they may get another opportunity this week and you better clean it up?
I don't spare criticism from anybody. So when people don't perform up to their level that they're capable of, don't work and execute to our standard, then I'm critical of them. So the guys in the second half, I was critical of them, and perhaps they'll get a chance this week. Maybe not. We'll see. But I don't ever expect to go into a game that, we're just going to be able to play everybody on the roster. We got starters for a reason, and we're going to put them in there to start the game and try to play our best.
Thanks, Jeff.
Charles, go ahead.
Yes, Coach. And I'm asking to get your perspective, and perhaps it's just me, but when I watch college games today and even the NFL, the DBs seem to be grabbing more than actually tackling. But in your case, you're a group of DBs, the defensive backs are extremely physical. We saw that we've seen it throughout the year. Can you kind of go into that? Is this the style that is coached and taught for the Army football players?
I hope that I hope you would think that about every position we've got. I hope you'd say that our guys are physical and tough and play a rugged brand of football. And I certainly try to create a culture where that's part of who we are. And I think our guys embrace that. But I also think that that's encouraged by their chosen profession as future Army officers. We want rugged, tough, physical people who are willing to do the tough jobs. And so I think it fits our personality.
Thanks, Coach.
Ken McMillan.
Jeff, to follow on what you told Kenny, you said you were going to focus on your team this week, but can you give us a little insight on Massachusetts as far as offense and defense? Obviously,
they're struggling. They're having a tough year. And they beat UConn. It was a great win for them. I know it was an important victory for them. That's certainly still while Coach Bell was coaching them, and he's been let go. And so we don't know what to expect. They've got nothing to lose at this point. really just to let it all hang out and have fun and play. And we may see some different schemes than we've seen. They played last weekend for the first time without Coach Bell. So I'm really expecting anything, onside kicks and fake kicks and, maybe some different things on offense and defense than they've shown. And so it's a lot to prepare for. Again, that's the preparation we've got to do. So we're ready for whatever gets thrown our way.
Did Bucknell do that to you guys? Did they throw things at you that maybe you hadn't expected, or, we got nothing to lose mentality?
I think the fake punt there was probably a nothing to lose mentality. And we had our punt block team out there, and I mean, they had a guy behind us, but DiDomenico, the guy I mentioned, made a really good play. I thought those guys came out and competed. I thought their team came out and competed hard. And they completed some passes in there, particularly early, and nothing crazy. But I mean, we were ready for anything. Reverses on kickoffs and everything.